Johnny, first and foremost, let me take this opportunity because I've been seeing you for quite some time. You are doing very good job for the mother Ghana. Remain undaunted.
This is our society,
right?
And it will take me and you to do it. That's why I always watch Johnny's Bite.
The general watches Johnny's Bite
every day.
Thank you very much.
And it's devoid of insults, but straight to the point, factual and fearless.
Charlie, no be joke. The pressure people like Johnny can give you.
No.
You no get grey hair, you go get grey hair.
I'm innocent.
And that's what I'm saying. That the pressure Johnny and his people, the pressure they can give you, you no get grey hair, you go get. So your best bet is not to have hair.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. And surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Welcome to Johnny's Bites, the day after the President's State of the Nation address. And yesterday, listening to the President for a moment, I was lost. Because I was thinking, is the President talking about Ghana or is the President talking about some other country? But before we get into the details, who were those sleeping while the President was speaking? The President of the land is speaking. He's telling us the state of the nation after it has been postponed for some time. And you're sleeping. Who were those? Well, the President has a message for you. Oliver, play the video for them. The President says, open your eye, shine your eye. No time for sleeping. You were sleeping in Parliament, in the chamber, with all the yeah, the no, the yeah. You were sleeping. Mr. President, it tells you a simple story. It is either what you were saying is boring to them, or what you were saying was empty, that they didn't find it worthy to listen to, or they had worked too hard the previous night that they were so tired but had to come to Parliament anyway, or they are just tired. Because I don't understand why you spoke for less than 2 hours, less than 1 hour, 30 minutes, and people were sleeping. People were sleeping in Parliament, Mr. President, while you were talking. That's a signal to you. This is a big signal to you, Mr. President. But, so near, new promises near. Yesterday, that was what hit me, because yesterday, Mr. President, aside making some very definite admission, for example, in the case of Agenda 111, you said that the timeline for that was over-ambitious. I thought that was honest. So thank you for being honest. And before we get to your honesty matter, Mr. President, those of your people who were sleeping in Parliament yesterday while you were speaking, it means that it's time for you to go to your bench. You see the way yesterday you were praising Coach Otto Addo. He also is called Addo. You were praising him yesterday. He used his bench, changed 3 players in 45 minutes. You have had 5 years. You have not changed the players. 6 years. You are not changing the players. So the players are tired. They are jogging on the field like that. They are so tired. They can't play, but you are keeping them. I don't know why. But yesterday, you were honest with that admission that it was too ambitious. And again, for the young people who defend everything, the President has cut your nose to spite your faces again. When Agenda 88 was announced, and some of us told you that it was too ambitious for the 1 year period, you told us to get away because we were being pessimists. Then it was moved to 96, you remember? Then again you came to tell us, oh no, 106, sorry, and then you came to tell us we were being pessimists. Then you yanked us off. Now the man who promised Agenda 111 to finish in 12 months is telling you that it was too ambitious and that it will still be done when he leaves. or at the time when he's about to leave office or when his tenure is over. And which gives me some shocks anyway, because the president told us that Accra will be the cleanest city by the end of his tenure. That was the first term. He has not finished that. He is promising us another one that will be done by the time he leaves in 2024. Well, we will wait. But this is to the young people. Don't be defending everything. Sorry, you are not robots. Mr. President, did I also hear you talk about new housing units at Pokwasi Masaman and somewhere in the Ashanti region, 1,000 housing units? Are you promising again, Mr. President? Oh, don't do that. Don't do that, sir. We have not finished with Saglemi. We have not finished with Boteman. We have not even finished with your promise in 2020, reiterated in 2021, about paying rent allowance for young people in this country. We have not finished with that. And you are promising again. Mr. President, why do you do that? Yesterday, King Promise was trending on Twitter. We thought he had released a new song, only for us to go to realize that it was you they were talking about. And I don't like it when they talk about you like that, Mr. President. You are trending for the wrong reason. It's not good. A day after your birthday, a day after the Black Stars qualified to Qatar, a day after you commissioned the first phase of the Tamale interchange. Come on, Mr. President. The promises that were buried in the Sona yesterday did not actually tell us about the state of the nation. Because yesterday, I told you, Mr. President, that you had previously, the year before, told us that we are a net exporter of food. Yesterday, you went praising Planting for Food and Jobs, but you couldn't give us details. Did you realize that, Mr. President? You couldn't give us details. Yesterday, you didn't talk about the economy. You didn't talk about the usual bread and butter issues. You didn't talk about the exchange rate. Your vice president was sitting there, he was nodding. You didn't talk about the exchange rate. You didn't talk about our weak city. You only admitted that we are in a difficult place. Well, now you have the e-levy that you craved for. It's your birthday present, that you said. But again, the question remains. You said we are done what? 10,885 kilometers of road? Well, Kwame Agboja has an answer for you. Oliver, play the video for me.
You read this document from the president, which talks about 4,200 kilometers. And he stands in front of the people and says he's constructed 10,000 kilometers. What word will you use to describe the president's comment? No, you have. No, you told me. A liar. The president is a liar. Lied. I mean, he's the president of the state. The president of the state should be telling the truth. How do you publish this? You publish this 4,000, and guess what? This includes pothole patching. The only road they've done, apart from Ashanti Valley, is 68 kilometers. Where from the 10,000 kilometers? Mr. President, you wanted us to come together with you, but I don't want to be with you as a liar. You lied, Mr. President. The roads you said you've worked on, not constructed, worked on, which include graveling.
So, Mr. President, what did you mean when you said kilometers of road? Were you talking about re-asphalting, patching potholes? I don't get it. Because really, if we're talking about 10,000 and more than 800 kilometers of roads, 10,800 and something kilometers of road, that's everybody in this country should be bearing testimony to you. Everybody should be bearing testimony to you. And I've told you, Mr. President, I'll repeat it until it changes. Sector by sector, when you're going to present some of these addresses, you seek for what do you call it, reports from the various sectors of the economy: roads, agri, economy, energy, blah blah blah. You seek for their reports, and then you inculcate it in your speech. Your speech writers look at it. When they bring the things, Mr. President, please fact check them, because when people start fact checking you like that, right, even before the debate begins in Parliament, that's not good. That's not good. Yesterday, we were talking about a modern railway system, and I shook my head. I smiled. Because you remember that when Mr. Jogate was our Minister for Railway, you told us, Mr. President, that we're going to construct rail lines from the Western region all the way to Paga. Mr. President, how far? You have not finished that one. You are promising us new modern rail lines. Already, you promised us sky trains, Mr. President. Your new railway minister, who has told us that it is not possible. Munjai, don't stop thinking about it. It won't happen. So when you keep talking about modern railway, what exactly are you? Are you talking about a sky train? Are you talking about electric train? Are you talking about speed train? What are you talking about? Because sometimes the statements you make, they're too vague. And Mr. President, yesterday, you spoke about the fact that during COVID, the teachers were able to get the children to be stuck to their textbooks. That was the expression. The children were stuck to their textbooks. Where are the textbooks? The textbooks that you said the teachers were able to get the children to be stuck to. Is it for primary school, for JHS, for SHS? Where are the textbooks? The textbooks that we were promised will be printed. It's been 3 years and more. Where are the textbooks, Mr. President? The state of the nation suggests that there are no textbooks. This morning, teachers will go to school. There are no textbooks. They will have to find a way to prepare their own lesson notes, which some circuit supervisor will be breathing down their neck, which some headmaster will be demanding at the peril of his life. Yet they have no textbooks. The children are using unapproved textbooks. And if they are in a public school and their parents cannot afford like those in the private schools, they will be stuck. Not to the textbooks, but they will be stuck at the stark reality of things. Mr. President, yesterday you didn't give us the State of the Nation address. Prior to your election, you spoke about the price of fuel. You spoke about the exchange rate. You spoke about the price of a ball of cake. You spoke about charcoal. You spoke about the price of LPG. You spoke about the price of rent, or the rates of rent. You spoke about all those things. Yesterday, we were expecting that after the long delay, you would have spoken about it. You didn't. Now you are mentioning to us that we spent what? What do you call it? 17 billion to fight a COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. President, it will be good to know the detail, because that's what we've been asking. And you see, that is what people were asking in order not to resist the e-levy. Now the e-levy has been passed anyway. And guess what? If you're a habitual patron at a restaurant or a supermarket, once you buy anything, 12.5% of whatever you have bought. So let's say you buy 100 Ghana cedis. 12.5% of what you have bought is VAT. Then 2.5% is NHIL. Then another 2.5% of what you have bought is Get Fund. Then there's 1% for COVID. And then there is 1% charge for tourism levy. If you decide to pay with Momo as we speak now, you pay 1% charge of whatever amount you are paying. Now in May, as the finance minister told us, in May, if we get the, what do you call it, the e-levy passed finally and implemented fully, giving your blessing presidential accent, we're going to pay 12.5 VAT, 2.5 NHIL, 2.5 Get Fund. We're going to pay 1% COVID levy. We're going to pay 1% tourism levy. Now, by some special arrangement, the telcos will charge 0.75%, and then e-levy will come in 1.5%. That's more than 21%. So if I buy something at 100 Ghana cedis, I will have to add another 21 cedis and more. So let's not create the impression that people were not paying taxes before. The taxes that they pay for Get Fund, NHIL, VAT, COVID-19 fund, blah, blah, blah. What is it? And Mr. President, you have lifted the restrictions for COVID-19. So why are we sticking 1% still for COVID-19? You have. In any case, you have lifted all the restrictions for COVID-19, but in our secondary schools, where the children are, parents are still restricted from visiting their children in schools. Because, Mr. President, you know that when they go and visit their children, they will get to know that the children are not getting food from the buffer stock. That is the true State of the Nation address, Mr. President. Oliver, there's an old newspaper I put up there. Quickly, put it up for me. Give me 2 minutes. Put it up for me. 49 years ago. 49 years ago, Mr. President, I like the fact that you're talking about industrialization in your previous sonor. Yesterday, you didn't really speak about it. You just said that they showed strongly recovering from COVID. But you had previously told us that we'll move from taxation to industrialization. So we have had a Sempa budget, a Jumapa budget, a Impumto budget. Now we are doing what the Ajinkwa budget, the savior. I don't know who we are saving ourselves from. But this is a newspaper, Daily Graphic, February 12, 1973. Guess what it talks about? Commander Sugar Factory. The regional commander harvests sugarcane at Commander. Student from Agri Memorial, they joined Commander J.K. Amedume Central Regional Commissioner to harvest sugar at the Commander Sugar Factory. Yesterday, I thought, Mr. President, you would have spoken about our Commander Sugar Factory. You didn't talk about it. And I saw people referencing Nigerians setting this one ablaze. But again, see, there's Operation Feed Yourself, OFY, second phase. Colonel Frank Benasco, Commissioner for Agriculture, will this morning launch the second phase of the country's Operation Feed Yourself, akin to our planting for food and jobs. What is the state of our planting for food and jobs? Yesterday, you were there giving funds. And I like the fact that yesterday, you didn't mention the names of the ministers because your team A is letting you down, Mr. President. So yesterday, it was another batch of promises. And I've given you just a few for want of time. You are promising affordable housing, 1,000 of them, Pokwasi and Dedesua in the Ashanti region. You are promising modern railway when you have not finished paying the rent that you promised the young people. You are promising modern railway when we don't know the head or tail of the Sky Train. We don't know the Paga to the Western Region Railway. You are promising that the children were stuck to their books when the children don't have textbooks. You didn't talk about the economy. You didn't talk about exchange rate. You didn't talk about fuel. You didn't talk about price of kenke. You didn't talk about LPG. Mr. President, you didn't give us the state of the nation yesterday. So it's not too late. Please go and come back again. And for those of your appointees who are sleeping glaringly on national TV in Parliament, tell them to wake up. Koko, play that last video for me where the president was asking them to open their eyes. Good morning, Mr. President. No,